Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are wrestling with a really fundamental challenge, aren't we? How do you take a thought, an idea, a dream, and actually make it real? Force it into the concrete world we live in.
Yeah, not just wishful thinking. We're talking about actual strategy.
Exactly, strategy.
And our listener, well, they've given us quite a stack of sources this time. It seems to break down goal achievement into maybe 3 main areas.
Looks like it.
You've got these, rigid step-by-step systems, very mechanical, like a checklist.
The how, basically.
Right. Then there's the psychological side, why belief matters, expectation, the science, maybe, behind what people call manifestation.
But why it works or if it works.
Precisely. And finally, maybe the most important part for many people, how to deal with that big obstacle.
Procrastination, laziness, the self-sabotage stuff.
Yeah, the one you actually get started. So our mission today,
we're going to try and pull all this together, synthesize it, create, hopefully, a kind of unified guide, something actionable you can use to turn those ideas into reality. The how, the why, and the strategy for actually doing it. Okay, so let's start with that structure, the mechanical part. In a world that's, honestly, full of pretty vague advice.
So much vague advice.
The sources drawing on Brian Tracy's work give us this really clear 7-step checklist.
Feels solid, grounded.
And it starts right at the foundation. Clarity. Step 1 is simply decide exactly what you want.
Sounds easy, right? But it's maybe the biggest hurdle. People say, I want to be rich.
Or successful. Yeah, totally useless goals in practice.
The sources really hammer this. If you can't define it, you don't actually know your goal yet.
And they offer this great little test for that clarity. They call it the Einstein Test.
Okay.
The idea is, if you can't explain your goal to a 6-year-old, and have that kid explain it to another 6-year-old, and they both get it perfectly, then your goal isn't clear enough. I like that. It needs to be simple, measurable.
Instantly understandable, time-bound, all of that.
Now, the sources also bring up collaboration here, this great mastermind idea.
Right.
They specifically mention a husband and wife, which, okay, that's one powerful duo, but the principle feels broader, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think the core idea isn't marriage specifically, but alignment.
Alignment, yeah.
2 co-founders, partners, whatever. If they are 100% locked onto the exact same super clear goal.
That synergy, it just multiplies everything. Double the ideas, double the energy.
Double the accountability, probably.
Okay, so clarity is step 1. That leads right into step 2, which the sources say is totally non-negotiable.
You write it down.
If it's not written, it's just like a fantasy, a daydream.
Pretty much. And this isn't just, positive thinking mumbo-jumbo. There's actual neuroscience here.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, the act of physically writing engages your brain differently than just typing or thinking. When you write by hand, you're using 3 pathways at once. There's the kinesthetic, the actual physical movement.
Okay, the hand moving.
Then the visual, you're seeing the words appear.
Right.
And also the auditory, because you often kind of subvocalize or hear the words in your head as you write them.
Wow, okay, so it's hitting the brain from multiple angles simultaneously.
Exactly. It turns, like you said before, a vague idea into a focused command.
Like a laser beam instead of a floodlight.
That's a great analogy. And this multimodal encoding, it dramatically boosts how well that goal gets embedded in your memory, in your subconscious.
The sources mention some studies. Yale, Harvard.
Yeah, suggesting students who physically write notes retain information way better, way longer than those who just type. It seems writing it down makes the subconscious, and what the sources call the superconscious mind,
Superconscious, okay.
accept it as a command, like, okay, this is real, this is happening, and that starts to steer you towards opportunities, maybe even coincidences that align with the goal.
So the physical act is almost like programming your internal GPS.
Kind of. It sets the destination, which leads perfectly to step 3.
Let me guess. Give the GPS a deadline.
Exactly. Set a deadline. Tell your subconscious when you expect this by, and crucially, write it in the present tense.
Like, I achieve X by December 31st, not I will achieve.
Precisely. I earn, I weigh, I complete. Present tense makes it feel more immediate, more real to the brain.
Okay, steps 4 and 5. This sounds like where the planning really kicks in.
Yeah, this is the mapping phase. Step 4, make a list. Everything you can possibly think of that you'll need to do to get there.
Keep a notepad by the bed, right? For those 3 a.m. ideas.
Definitely. Capture everything. Then step 5 is the big organizational moment.
Organize a list.
By priority. Turn that brain dump into an actual ordered checklist. What needs to happen first? What's most important right now? and keep refining it as you learn more.
That feels like a major turning point, going from chaos to a plan.
It really is. And then you got to move. Step 6.
Take action immediately.
Yep.
On the most important thing on that list, just start. It doesn't have to be huge.
Like the kickoff in a football game, they said. Could be small. Ordering a book, making one call.
Revising a single paragraph. Just break the inertia. Start the momentum.
And finally, step 7. The one they say is the key to everything. Wealth, happiness, all of it.
Do something every single day.
Consistency.
Towards your most important goal. That single goal that, if achieved, would have the biggest positive impact on your life. It's the compounding interest of effort.
30 minutes a day is way more powerful than one massive burnout session every few weeks.
Way more powerful, sustainable. It builds momentum.
Okay, so we have the mechanics, the 7 steps, the how. But now let's dive into the why. Why does actually believing this stuff work? This takes us towards manifestation, right?
It does, and we need to define that carefully. Manifestation in this context is about consciously creating circumstances, turning an idea into reality.
But let's put up the caution flag right away. The sources warn about the pop psychology versions.
Yeah, like The Secret and similar things. Psychological scientists tend to view a lot of that as, well, pseudoscience. We need to stick to what's actually backed by research.
So if we ground it in science, how does, say, having a growth mindset make manifestation more than just standard goal setting, if you still need belief plus action?
That's a really sharp question. The science doesn't replace the action from the checklist. It explains why the belief makes the action more likely and more effective.
How so?
Well, look at Dr. Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset. If you genuinely believe you can improve, that your abilities aren't fixed.
You're more likely to try harder, persist.
Exactly. You see effort as the path to mastery, not as proof you weren't good enough. You're more resilient to setbacks. That belief fuels the persistence needed for step 7, doing something every day.
Okay, that makes sense. Belief powers the engine of action.
And then there's the cognitive science angle, the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Ah, right. What you expect, you tend to get. It's powerful. Research shows if you go into a situation expecting the worst, this meeting will be awful, they won't like my idea.
You unconsciously look for evidence to confirm it.
You do. And you interpret neutral things negatively. A delayed email reply means rejection. A thoughtful pause means criticism.
And that negativity can actually create the bad outcome. You act awkward or defensive.
Precisely, which sours the interaction and confirms your initial fear. It's a feedback loop.
But the flip side is also true. Positive expectations.
They genuinely help. Optimistic people tend to interpret ambiguity more favorably. They communicate more openly. They build rapport better. Other people want to help positive, enthusiastic individuals.
So it's not some mystical energy field attracting good things.
It's often basic social psychology and how your mindset primes your interactions and interpretations. People respond better to positivity.
Okay, so how do we apply this practically?
Yeah.
If you want to manifest something, scientifically speaking.
First, clarity again, just like step 1. Use tools, meditation, journaling, maybe a vision board, if that helps you visualize, to get crystal clear on what you truly want.
And the sources emphasize focusing on the right kind of goals, right? Not just stuff.
Yes, this is crucial. Focusing purely on material things, the fancy car, the exact dollar amount, often doesn't lead to lasting happiness, even if you get them.
So focus instead on
Core emotional needs and states. Things like feeling secure, feeling connected, contributing something meaningful, experiencing love, growing personally.
those deeper goals.
Yeah,
They probably provide more intrinsic motivation anyway. Easier to stick with step 7.
much easier. And pursuing those kinds of goals contribution makes talking about them feel natural. Which brings us back to the mastermind idea.
Because when you talk about a meaningful goal,
People often genuinely want to help. It's not the universe writing a check. It's a friend saying, oh, you need X. I know someone who... It's human connection and reciprocity.
I like that little hula hoop power story in the sources.
Yeah, it's a simple but great illustration.
The person wanted a hula hoop, didn't actively scour ads, but just started keeping their eyes open for, like, free stuff, discarded materials.
Right. They put themselves in a receptive, observant state. Took a small action, just looking around more consciously.
And then, boom, found one. And because their mind was now primed to notice hula hoop-related things.
They spotted 3 more over the next few months, just discarded. It wasn't magic. It was flexible attention combined with persistent, low-level action. Their mind was looking for solutions, not just one specific pathway.
So what about the people who really connect with the more spiritual or energy-based side of manifestation, thinking about vibrations and attracting energy.
Well, from a purely psychological standpoint, even if the mechanism described isn't scientifically validated, if thinking in those terms helps you cultivate positive emotions, optimism, a feeling of possibility.
Then it achieves the same practical outcome as fostering a growth mindset.
Pretty much. It reduces the mental friction, makes you feel good, more proactive, more open to seeing opportunities. If that framework helps you maintain the necessary belief and positive outlook to take action, then it's serving a useful psychological function. Okay, so we have the structure, the checklist. We have the psychological fuel belief, mindset, positive expectation, but none of it matters.
If the biggest enemy is running the show.
Laziness. Procrastination, that insidious voice whispering, I'll start tomorrow.
The sources call it a full-time job that pays in regret.
Ouch. It really hits home, doesn't it? Regret, missed opportunities, unrealized potential. That's the paycheck for laziness.
And it's not about competition or lack of money or bad luck. It's internal.
Completely. They brought up Jack Ma's perspective here.
The Alibaba founder.
Yeah. He apparently said lazy people are basically professional excuse makers. They have an instant rationalization for why not to do something.
And the excuses are always the same old ones, aren't they?
Always. I don't have time.
While simultaneously having hours for Netflix or TikTok.
Right. Or I don't have money.
While finding cash for daily coffees, new gadgets, takeout.
Exactly. Excuses are, ironically, incredibly expensive. They cost you your future.
Jack Ma example itself is powerful. No money, constant rejection.
30 rejections. People literally laughed at him. But he just refused to give in to laziness or discouragement. He embodied step 7, relentless daily action.
So persistence is the antidote. Discipline over laziness. What specific habits do the sources say build that discipline? How do we kill the excuses?
Number 1 is pretty blunt. Wake up early. Stop losing the best part of your day.
If you roll out of bed at noon, you've already lost half the battle, haven't you? Less energy, more decision fatigue later on.
For sure. Those quiet morning hours can be incredibly productive. Second, eliminate distractions.
The big ones. Social media, endless streaming, news cycles.
They're designed to steal your time and mental energy. You have to be ruthless about protecting your focus, your deep work time. Shut them off.
Okay, and critically, this ties back to the checklist.
Set small daily steps. Don't try to conquer the entire mountain in one go. That's overwhelming and invites procrastination.
Just focus on the next single step you can take today. Even superheroes started small.
Exactly. Small wins build momentum. They feed that positive, self-fulfilling prophecy we talked about. Hey, I did the thing I said I would do today. That feels good. Makes you want to do it again tomorrow.
Builds confidence.
Yeah.
Builds the discipline muscle.
And another key one, surround yourself wisely. Who are you spending your time with?
Ooh, yeah. Environment matters. If everyone around you makes excuses,
it normalizes it. You'll likely become lazy too. But if you hang out with driven, focused people,
their energy, their standards, they rub off on you. Don't be a pigeon hanging out with eagles, as the source put it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Find your eagles. And maybe the final, most crucial piece of advice for killing laziness.
Let me guess. Stop waiting.
Just start. Ignore the feeling of I'm not ready or I don't feel motivated. Discipline is taking action when you don't feel like it.
Motivation often follows action, not the other way around.
Absolutely. The perfect moment never arrives. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time.
Right now.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for you listening? We've looked at the mechanical steps, the psychological underpinnings, the need for discipline.
What's the common thread weaving through all of it?
It seems to be consistent action, persistent effort, but crucially rooted in absolute clarity about what you're aiming for.
Clarity first, then structure, fueled by belief, executed with discipline.
That sums it up pretty well. Success isn't magic. It's not going to just fall in your lap.
It's the outcome of that daily grind, showing up, doing the work, especially when it's boring or hard.
And being willing to adjust the plan. Remember step 5, reorganizing the list. Setbacks aren't stop signs. They're just new information telling you to reroute.
Pivot and grow. Treat it like data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we also touched on how sometimes the manifested outcome, the solution, kind of pops into your head when you stop forcing it, when you relax a bit.
Right, like trying too hard to remember a name. The moment you stop trying,
yeah,
it appears.
Which leads to maybe a final provocative thought for you to consider.
Okay, let's hear it.
Given that we change, our priorities shift, we learned things along the way to any big goal. Think about your life right now. How much of the good stuff, the successes you currently enjoy, might actually be the result of a previous goal? One you were intensely focused on, maybe got frustrated with, and eventually let go of, or at least loosened your grip on.
And then, because you stopped forcing that specific outcome?
Something related, maybe even better or more suited to who you became, manifested instead.
Yeah.
Because you allowed for flexibility.
Wow, that's interesting. So the idea is maybe use that same flexibility and trust now. Define the goal clearly, work diligently, but don't choke the life out of it with rigid expectations about the exact path.
Perhaps. Trust the process, trust your discipline, but stay open. Define your goal, kill your excuses, take that first action today.
The world's waiting. Thanks for diving deep with us.
We'll see you next time.